Now for something really fun.
Right, we've got my mini-me here. We have the neck. Now this neck was only used for pouring spouts to make the epoxy resin. The neck needs to disappear now, and we are going to do that by using this. This is my Dremel. Now guys, you can get these from absolutely everywhere. Any hardware store, sure you can get it. Doesn't have to be a Dremel, but let's be fair. Why would you want to use anything else? These are just the best. Absolutely. Loads of different attachments on these things. I have on this one, like a little circular saw. And I'm just gonna, first of all, just chop the neck off, the main bulk of it, and then I'll sand it down so that there is no neck at all. Once I've done that, I can start prepping to actually dig inside the head, so I can put a connection point in there, a K&S brass tube, so it will fit to the armature. This will all come apparent later on. As for now, let's get this plugged in. Let's chop off my neck. I'll see you very soon. Okay, before we start, let's move my coffee. It's really nice and warm outside. It's obviously warm in here. It's a cold coffee day today. Oh yeah, this coffee was left in the fridge overnight. It's the best. Anyways, here's my head. Are we ready? Let's go. We don't want to go ridiculously high. I think this has a setting of 23, oddly. The resin's quite easy to cut into. It isn't too hard, so we don't need to go too heavy with the speed. I'm going to go to 15, and all I'm going to do, I'm not going to chop real close because I want enough room to sand it down, but I'm going to cut quite close. There we go. Simple as that. Now I don't need to go any nearer on that. The rest I can sand down. I might even be able to do it just with sandpaper. I'll try it first. If I'm not too happy, I'll come back to the Dremel. I can put a sander on the Dremel it down that way. I must admit though, if you do, I'm a bit low. If you do decide to use a Dremel to sand it down, it's not as easy as it looks. And if you find a point where you start sanding down, the Dremel will dig right in if you're not careful. So you've got to don't overdo it, otherwise you'll end up with a big hole where you weren't meant to have one. I'm probably not going to use the Dremel again now until I need to dig in, which is what it's really good for. Anyway, turn the Dremel off before you do anything else. My sandpaper seems to be disappearing. I don't know where it's all gone. Hopefully this will be enough. I'm just trying to smooth it back down so it was as if there was no neck there, because we're going to add the neck, as I've already said, later on. Bit of the wet. This will just smooth it all out. Smooth it all out. What we can do in a bit as well is we can use a Dremel to just buffer everything, and it's amazing what it does actually. It's really quite cool. Okay, we have a head now with no neck. Head, he's got no neck. Perfect, just what we wanted. I need to let you into a little secret. When I was pouring the resin into the mould, there was a tiny bit of resin that didn't quite get in a certain gap, and it was the chin. And that is because where the pouring spout was and where my chin was, the chin was higher, which obviously meant that the resin was going to always struggle to get to the top. We can get around that. Any air bubbles that you ever get in your model, which you will get some, you know, resin isn't absolutely spot on, and neither is the silicone moulding. It just gives you a good start off base. If I was to make another model now and pour it, it's better than me completely remaking it from scratch. This is the advantage of why we do these moulds and the in resin as well, is so it's very quick for us to reproduce and just tart it up as opposed to making the whole thing again. What we can do where these air bubbles are, I don't know if you can see on the neck here, we can use what's called milliput, which is a great product. I'll show you. Milliput. This stuff is great. It's a plumber's putty, and it comes in two parts. I'm very good at doing things in two parts, aren't I? It's the easiest way to do things. When you start having to measure out different things, it gets really complicated. Milliput, mixed two parts, just the same as the resin, just the same as the silicone. How easy can it be? Here are the two parts. They come in all different colours. This is white, perfect. We've got a white model. We're also going to prime it white. Makes sense? You don't want to use the black stuff. I have some over there. I'm not going to show you. You don't need to see it. Here it is. What we will do is just mix a very small amount of this in equal parts. Mix it together, manipulate it. Takes a little bit longer. We're looking at around an hour or so before it's cured. We don't want to rush these things. All we're going to do is get each part of the milliput. Just going to break a tiny piece off. Just a small ball like that. Same with the other part. Okay, two parts, equal size. Mix these two together. Now this stuff is absolutely brilliant, but it's like cement. So you've got to be very careful with your fingers that you get it washed off as soon as you've finished doing what you're doing. It gets quite sticky, it will stick to your fingers, but it's absolutely brilliant stuff. Just kneading it in my fingers as always. You can't really tell whether you've mixed it completely because these two are quite similar in colour. There are different types of milliput where you can actually see the difference in the colours of each part. This one unfortunately is quite similar in colour, but as long as you mix it for a good few seconds and you feel like you've really manipulated it, then you should be alright. Now this doesn't dry as quick as silicone and as fast cast resin. This will take a good 12 hours actually before it's completely hard. Within an hour you're starting to feel it getting quite hard. But for a full cure you're looking at around 12 hours. Which is fine because I'm off out to work in a bit, so I'll just have a little time. Okay, I'm happy that is completely manipulated. So I'm just going to start adding the milliputs to my chin area where the bubbles ended up. We're just pressing it into that hole that was created. As always, we can wet. We can use our fingers to smooth the milliput in. We can use the wetness to slide it into all of the nooks and crannies. Now isn't that easier than having to make a complete new head if you were to break it? Instead of having to copy it and try and get it exact, which might not be very easy if you've dropped it and broke it in half or broken the head in half, how much easier it's going to be now for me to just get some more resin out, pour it into the mould, pop it out, and all I've got to do is just the minor little bit of detail back into like the chin. This is so much easier than redoing the whole puppet again. So, as I've said, we are just manipulating it in, smoothing it into the resin, just to give ourselves a nice bond. A few bubbles on the back of the head. Again, I'm just going to smooth some of this one. Trying to be careful not to touch too much of the model elsewhere, because it is on my fingers, this milliput, and it's very, very strong, and it will start to stick to other parts of the puppet where you don't want it. So you really do have to be careful that you keep your fingers away, or you can use a tissue just to wipe some of the milliput off before you touch the model elsewhere, because you will end up with little drops of milliput on your puppet where you don't want it to be. So you need to be really careful. Ideally what you want to be doing is working on one area, let it dry, and then go on to another part. It makes life different. Again, with this stuff, once it's dried, we can sand it, we can drill into it, we can do whatever we need to it. It's perfect. Right, I am happy with what I have produced. This is my head. I am now going to leave this to dry for about 12 hours, go off to work. Hopefully when I come back I will be ready to Dremel into the head so I can add the K&S tubing that's going to connect this head to the armature. Don't rush these things. Let it go, let it dry, come back to it when it's ready. Do not rush. So, I hope you're enjoying this series still. Please keep watching it, keep sharing it, let people know about it. I want this to be as informative for you and helpful in your process of making your own stop motion puppets. If you haven't already, please make sure that you like this video, subscribe, hit the notification icon, then you won't miss any other of these videos. You'll get all the updates. My name's Pete Ellis. This is my animated life. I'll see you in episode 6.